Hey everyone, what is going on? It is Brian. We are back. And today's another video that's going to be me and Drew tasting together from a few weeks back when he was in town. We're going to be taking a look at a sample of the new Seagrass 16-year-old against last year's release of Barrell Seagrass. Thank you so much, Christian, for sending the sample in for us to review. Now, the audio does cut out towards the end of the video, so I'm punching in here just to kind of open up the video, and I will be back towards the very end to sum up where we were before the audio cut out in the video. Take a look. Hey, what's up everybody? Brian back again, and I have Drew with me one more time. We got another video we want to talk about with you all. We had one of the followers send us a sample. Christian, thank you so much, sent us each a sample of the newly released Barrell Seagrass 16-year-old. And so we picked up, again, from another friend, Michael, let us borrow his bottle of the regular Seagrass, and we just wanted to do a side-by-side, break these down. So a lot of chatter around this very unusual finished rye whiskey that has taken a lot of people's favorites of 2021 lists by storm. And so we're bringing out batch 5 tonight, and we're just going to taste alongside of the 16 and see, because the early reports of the 16 also have people saying this is an immaculate product. And I find that interesting. So I just figured we'd
talk about it.
Just talk about it and taste. So we're going to get into the first normal Seagrass. Again, this is batch 5 as indicated by the label. And then we'll get into the 16-year. You've not tried Seagrass yet, right?
My palate is virgin to the Seagrass. The nose is not deep in any way whatsoever. It is sweet and very rummy. Of course, I know that there's some rum influence going on here.
And now we actually were with Blake from Steelbox this morning at Starlight, so we're no stranger to a slew of finished products, including rum, including apricot brandy as well.
Yeah, right. And so we had rum finished rye, we had apricot brandy stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
This has like a tangerine kind of citrus candy note to it. It's got stone fruit to it. It's got a sweet, like you said, like rum bubblegummy type sweetness on the nose. And that's all you get though. Like, I don't really notice, maybe a little bit of spearmint finish.
I'm picking up some, citrusy notes that are like a herbaceous citrus that's reminiscent of rye. So I'm thinking that I would pull, if we were guessing this blind, that it's fairly apparent it's a finished rye on the nose. But I don't get much in depth in terms of like caramelized sugars or oak at all.
The palate, have you gone to the palate yet?
I have, I did take a little nip.
The palate to me tastes like the orange Fruit Stripes gum. Like straight up.
That's a great call.
Maybe a little bit of the purple, but it is just like a citrus candy over exaggerated.
Yeah, there's a touch of cinnamon, and then it explodes into like young rye heat. This does taste like a young whiskey, and I get a touch of grain. It's not something that floats my boat, really. Like it's sweet, it's fruity, and so if you like fruity notes, it's gonna be right up your alley. But it lacks a deeper layer. And I think the most recent rye pick that we're doing with Dancing Goat, we're waiting on that one because it's toasting, and we want it to get a little more deep. And that one is even more viscous than this. I don't get like good viscosity after the front. It sort of falls apart structurally.
I feel like it's very sweet. It's very juicy, and that's what you get. I mean, personally, I like Barrell Dovetail and another kind of rum and some other stuff finished thing. So I'm not anti desserty finished pours.
No.
And I think if you are getting a desserty finished whiskey, this is it. But the fact that it's so juicy, I actually wished it was like more creamy, more sweet, and more. It's not desserty in a creamy, decadent way. It is super juicy and very fruity.
And the finish hits you like with a hammer. Like the finish is like it's a little of an imposition, I feel like, because the front is so sweet and fruity. The fruit being citrus and stone fruit primarily. It doesn't feel like a cohesive pour in that regard.
I think it does get some florality kind of grow in there. It's kind of fragrant. It almost tastes like if there was an Earl Grey essential oil. That's what you get on your palate. So it's very exaggerated. It's very intense. And has this kind of fragrant, fruity, floral sort of thing. If that sounds like your kind of thing, Seagrass is going to be interesting. Let's go ahead and jump to the 16, because that's like the more recent product that I feel like people might want to hear about.
I'm getting a ton of peachy apricotiness on number 1 now. Like I'm finding that more, and I do like that. but then I just get an apricot or apricot brandy. Do you say apricot or apricot?
I'll probably say both.
I do get oak on the nose on the 16,
Yeah,
which
but
is
also
nice.
it's kind of, I don't know, kind of short. Kind of a sharp finish to me. I don't know what that note is, like almond shell or like almond skin.
I'm honestly more excited about this one.
Let's go ahead.
I don't mind this at all.
I don't get much of the finishing. It doesn't smell the same way as the first glass does at all.
Which I don't mind that.
I notice it subtly. It's like, it's definitely fragrant, but lower in the glass.
It's grassy. Speaking of seagrass, not that that word association should signal grassy, but I get kind of a big lemon grassy herbaceous front. It's actually not as sweet and viscous initially.
Huh. I do get this kind of like lemon,
Completely different.
lemon oil. I do get some herbal characteristics like you're saying. This is a rye also, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah. I think I was hoping it would have more, I don't know, oak-like characteristics. I know rye doesn't typically necessarily take it on the same way that bourbon does. I don't know exactly what I expected.
This is 10 proof points higher. There's a funky middle note that is off-putting to me. I may like the standard version better, which to me, like we'll talk about this on a different video, perhaps maybe together, maybe separately, but I feel like that people just love this product, as you said when you introduced it, and I'm struggling to find why they're so like, oh yeah, because I think I like Dovetail more if we're just assessing these two products against each other. That'd be an interesting blind too. But I also think I'm liking the standard edition better than the 16 year because there's something weird going on here.
The 16 has some barrel char. I think I can give it that. I think it's that medicinal thing that kind of slides in there is what is a kind of averse to me. Which is not, we've had that in other products before. And sometimes it comes off okay, sometimes it doesn't. It's a little too medicinal for being, I don't pull a lot of the finishing, honestly.
Right.
And I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to.
Pronounced as the initial version.
It does linger for a long time. I think this would definitely have to be something, and I guess the price probably says so too, that you would be sitting on and sipping. There's something sharp about it. There's something that's a little salty about it. To be completely perfect, I would be less upset with $80 spent on this seagrass than $250 spent on this seagrass.
Completely.
There are things you've heard me talk about on the channel. You know, I try not to put price into play in a lot of things.
But here we go.
But I don't know that I think this is one I would be upset for dropping $250 more.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think it's worth that.
No, 100% not. It's fine. Like it's not. Neither one of these is off-putting. Like we're being critical because that's kind of what we do, and we're being critical against the amount of hype that these have gotten. Remember, Fred Minnick gave the standard seagrass, which was batch 4, number 2 in his whiskeys of the year, which if batch 4 tastes like batch 5 in any way, that's crazy talk.
So what Drew and I were summing up in the very end is when given the preference of the two, it seems like the $80 spent on the normal seagrass is a much better buy than the $250 on the 16-year-old seagrass. I definitely think it's a product that should be in the mid-upper hundreds, perhaps. But even then, it's tough. What it does is you have something that's an Canadian rye. You have something that's a well-aged whiskey in general. And then you have something that's finished. And to me, I don't think that the combination of those three things really did the whole product justice. I think there was like some things that were wrong along the way in the whole drinking experience personally. I feel like if I was going to drink a well-aged rye, now while these are different categories, what I'm getting ready to mention is not a finished product. I personally would rather lean towards the Kentucky Owl rye. You know, it's 11 or 10 year, depending on the batch that you get, rye. But if I want something that's got an old age rye profile, I'd much rather be drinking that. I definitely think it's a profile thing of what you're going to go to. Do you like older whiskeys? Do you like something that's kind of spicy and a long linger? It has the old age type profile, or do you want something that's decadent, desserty, very juicy, very fruity? Because those are the two differences that you get in this profile. I could see there being different drinkers who want to be in either of their camp. I just feel like, and it seems like Drew does as well, that the value is probably closer there in the normal Seagrass release for what you get. Again, I think it would probably be a better pour than Dovetail, and I enjoy Dovetail for what it is also. I just think that we both found them a little bit strange. With the normal Seagrass, it was a little bit over-exaggerated. Enjoyable, yeah, but I just think that for my particular palate, it was a little bit too intense for what it was doing. With the Seagrass 16, I think I was really just pulling apart maybe some of its flaws to me than I was looking at it as a cohesive unit. Maybe it just didn't all sync up together. Again, my personal opinion. I'd love to hear what you all think about it. If you've tried the regular Seagrass or the Barrell Seagrass 16, leave me some thoughts down below on what you all think. If you want me to do a more in-depth review either on the normal Seagrass, on the Seagrass 16, or comparing them again head to head, giving them a little bit more time resting in the glass in this sort of format, leave me a message down below for that too. I still have some more of my sample of the Seagrass 16, and I don't mind reviewing it again, having that with a little bit more time, not just interacting on a short video with Drew about that. I'd be curious to see what it does on a revisit. Thanks so much everybody for tuning in. I hope the video was informative or educational or something that was interest to you. If there's other videos you all want to hear me talk about, again, leave me a message down below. Let me know the kind of things that you all are interested in hearing on the channel. I'd like to be able to continue to bring things that you all are engaging in here on the channel. If you all want more content, subscribe to the Entry Proof Podcast. I'm live with Drew P. Whiskey on his channel Thursday nights, and the archive files of our podcast at entryproofpodcast.com. If you all want more content, behind the scenes access to our barrel picks, some cool swag, or any sorts of thing like that, consider supporting what I'm doing here and what Drew's doing on his channel at patreon.com/entryproofpodcast. Until next time, everybody, we'll see you all later.